All righty, let's get started. Welcome everybody to our second Cancer and COVID chat. My name is Sophia. I'm a Client Services Specialist here at the Dempsey Center. And today I'm here with Judy Donnelly, who is our Nutrition Program Coordinator. Judy, would you like to tell us a little bit about the work you do here?
Sure. I'm the nutrition program coordinator at the center. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist, and I've been in practice for about 30 years now. And next week, I'll actually be entering my 6th year with the Dempsey Center. So my role at the Dempsey Center is really threefold. First off, I'm available to do one-on-one nutrition consults with our clients who might be experiencing weight loss, or they might be just wanting to improve their diet to reduce their risk of cancer or recurrence. So I'm available for that service. And I also conduct most of the nutrition and cooking programs that we offer at the center. Unfortunately, that's not happening at the center right now, but I do want to say that in 2 weeks, we'll be running our Food is Medicine series, and that's going to be running virtually. So I'll touch on that a little bit later on. And then finally, my third role is to manage our Dempsey Center Community Garden, which we actually are going to be running this summer. And we've started planting a few things already. And the garden is great because it supports a lot of the programs that we offer in the cooking in our Dempsey Center kitchen. So that's what I do at the center.
Awesome. That's a great introduction. I'm just going to tell us a little bit about what we're going to be talking today. We're going to be discussing snacking while isolating. So let's kind of just jump right in here. During this time of isolation and quarantine and trying to keep ourselves home and healthy, is snacking a good strategy for everyone, or are there certain people or situations like this isolation when snacking can be most helpful?
Sure, that's a great question. And I would say that there really isn't any one eating style that is perfect for everyone. But certainly, I have been hearing a lot of people talking about being at home and finding themselves in their kitchens a little bit more frequently. So, you know, I think it's important for people to kind of pay attention to what they're choosing when they do find themselves in the kitchen, because it can help to, what you choose can have an impact on your immune system. A lot of people are experiencing a little bit more stress and anxiety in their life, and that could lead to more snacking. So, what you choose can actually have an impact on your mood as well. So there's lots of good reasons to snack, but I would say that it's not a critical thing for everybody.
Okay. Along with that, you mentioned immune systems, and a lot of people are thinking about that right now. They're trying to, keep their immune system healthy, and keep them, healthy and prepared for whatever may come. What types of snacks would you recommend to best support our immune systems?
So let's start out by talking about the nutrients that are important, because it's really the nutrients in the foods that we're eating that are going to impact our immune system. So I would be thinking about the antioxidant vitamins. So vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E are what we call antioxidant vitamins, and those are pretty important for your immune system. So now let's talk about the foods that contain those nutrients. So most people are pretty familiar with vitamin C. The citrus fruits are really good sources of vitamin C. So grapefruit, oranges, lemons and limes that you can, squirt on your foods. But also things like bell peppers, both green and red bell peppers are good sources of vitamin C. Potatoes are a great source of vitamin C. Anything that has a little bit of an orange hue, so mango, papaya are good sources as well. So it's really the fruits and vegetables that are good sources of the particularly vitamin A and C. So those were the vitamin C foods. If we shift gears a little bit here and talk Orange foods, so sweet potato, carrots, green foods as well, broccoli, spinach. All of those foods contain what is called beta carotene, which is a phytochemical that the body can take and convert into vitamin A, which then helps to boost our immune system. And then the last antioxidant is vitamin E. And vitamin E is a little bit different. It's mostly present in foods that have a pretty high fat content. So cooking with olive oil is a way to get vitamin E. But in terms of snacks, nuts and seeds are great sources of vitamin E. And those are good foods that also contain protein. And protein is another nutrient that's important for your immune system because the antibodies that our body produces that help us fight off disease need protein for them to be produced. So including a little bit of protein in the form of nuts and seeds, hard-boiled eggs, other protein foods like hummus would be a good snack food, are great things to include for bumping up that immune system and staying healthy.
Awesome. I didn't know that hummus could be a health food in that way. So you mentioned earlier, which has got me thinking, I've never heard of this, but snacks as a mood enhancer. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. So let's start out. There's a couple of things we want to talk about here. Number one is talking about blood sugar. Blood sugar fluctuations can definitely have an impact on a person's mood. So trying to eat in a way that's going to keep your blood sugar kind of in a good place and relatively stable can kind of prevent people from having energy and mood swings that kind of go along with the fluctuations that people will experience with their blood sugar. So by incorporating some snacks in between meals, you can kind of avoid dips in your blood sugar. And then what you want to be thinking about is the quality of the foods that you're eating. Now, some of the quickest and easiest foods that people tend to go for sometimes are, foods that contain either a lot of sugar or kind of refined carbohydrates like, crackers and pretzels and things like that because, they're so easy. You find yourself in the kitchen looking for something to eat and all you really need to do is open a bag or box. But those aren't the best quality foods for a couple of reasons. They don't contain a lot of good nutrients, but also they get absorbed and metabolized fairly quickly. So because they're carbohydrates, they can cause that kind of high blood sugar. And then they get absorbed and metabolized so quickly that they can also result in a swing and a dip in your blood sugar. So your better choices are going to be carbohydrates that are metabolized a little bit more slowly. So examples would be whole grains, fruits and vegetables are all really good sources of carbohydrate that have fiber and maybe even a little bit of protein that slow down the metabolism. And then the second thing to think about is adding a little bit of protein to that good quality carbohydrate slows the metabolism process even a little bit more. So what are some examples here? It could be some carrots along with hummus. So carrots provide the good quality carbs, and then you throw in the hummus for a little bit of protein and some healthy fats. Other examples might be apple or banana with a little bit of peanut butter. So the fruit gives you the good quality carbs, and then the peanut butter pulls in a little bit of protein. Whole grain crackers with cheese, a little bit of trail mix that has some dried fruit and some nuts and seeds. So you get those immune boosting qualities, plus you get some good slow acting carbohydrates that keep your blood sugar in a good range. And then the second part to that, and this is kind of interesting, so serotonin is a brain chemical that is kind of a feel-good chemical. Carbohydrates, when they're combined with a little bit of fat, tend to increase serotonin levels, which helps us to feel a little bit better. So you can think about foods that contain those carbs and fats, and one of the first things that comes to mind for me is chocolate. You know, people will oftentimes ask me, why is it that I crave chocolate all the time? Well, when you eat chocolate, you're getting that combination of carbohydrate, although it's sugary, with some fat, and it's like this instant zing to boost serotonin levels. So you can achieve that same thing by having good quality carbs with proteins and fats mixed in. You don't get that instant zing. It's a little bit more gradual, but it can still have a really positive impact on serotonin and your overall mood. So good food can work well for you.
That's awesome. I had no idea. Um, so kind of going off of that, when I go to the grocery store, there are a lot of different snack food aisles. There are tons of options. So how do I make sure I'm making healthy snack choices, especially when I'm trying to limit my trips to the outside world?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's important to be intentional with your grocery shopping. So, I think what I hear from a lot of people right now is they're trying to go to the grocery store a couple of times every other week. So every 2 weeks instead of hitting the grocery store whenever they need something. So by what I mean by being intentional is to, kind of be thoughtful before you go to the grocery store about what is it that I want to snack on. And I would say, just that it's a little aside here, if you visit our website, we've got some great virtual resources in the Dempsey Connect section, and there's a healthy snack list there. So you might visit that snack list before your next grocery trip to get some ideas about what you might want to snack on. And then, you still have to make choices when you're at the grocery store, right? So there are full aisles of snack foods that might not be the best choices. We've talked about what the good choices are, colorful foods. So as you're kind of sketching out what you're going to buy, if you're not going to go to the grocery store for another 2 weeks, then you probably want to have some fresh produce to get those immune boosting nutrients for your snack foods. But also think about buying some frozen stuff that will last a little bit longer. So you can buy frozen berries that can be mixed with yogurt. So you get that carbohydrate mixed with a little bit of protein. The dried fruits and nuts and seeds will have a very long shelf life. So those are really great things to keep on hand. So be intentional. You don't have to be perfect. For any of you out there that know me and have been to some of the nutrition programs, I don't have very rigid guidelines for people. I think first and foremost, try to eat really well, but then I think you should also enjoy your ice cream to your heart's desire and just kind of watch your portion size. That shouldn't be your nutrition. That should just be something that you enjoy for a treat here and there.
Awesome. Good to know that we can still have treats every now and again. So I was wondering, as we know, working at the Dempsey Center, it's pretty common for people with cancer to experience weight loss. Can snacking help with that?
Absolutely. For many of our clients in the cancer population, snacking actually becomes imperative in order to help them avoid weight loss or gain weight if they've already lost some. There's a lot of reasons why people might lose weight, when they're going through treatment. Chemotherapy and radiation, for that matter, can have an impact on someone's appetite. And so eating 3 meals a day and putting normal portions on a plate could actually be a little bit overwhelming to people. And so they look at a plate of food and realize their appetite's not great and they've got a little bit of nausea and, it's overwhelming, and they might eat less than what they would eat if those same foods, if the portion was shrunk down and put on a small plate, less overwhelming. But that might not meet their overall fuel requirements, their calorie requirements. So then it becomes important to put some snacks in between meals. Choose good quality. And for some people, it might even be important to create a schedule of eating every 2.5 to 3 hours for themselves because they don't have an appetite. So that appetite doesn't trigger them to find their way to the kitchen and get a snack for themselves. So setting some reminders or putting something, a little schedule somewhere where they can see it that reminds them, oh yeah, I've got to go get a snack. It's time. I know I'm not that hungry, but I need the fuel. And that's just going to help people feel the best that they're going to feel. And the other thing that I would add here is that in those situations, when people really can't get a lot in, it's helpful to emphasize high fat foods during that time. So if people eat dairy products, it's a good thing to do whole milk instead of low fat or skim, eat full fat yogurt, include nut butters and nuts and seeds because you get a lot of calories or a lot of fuel in a small package when you're eating those foods. Yeah. Oh, does that cover everything you think?
Yeah, I think that covers a lot. Really good stuff to know. For anyone who's just popping in now, my name is Sophia. I work at the Dempsey Center, and this is Judy, our on-staff nutritionist, who's giving us some tips on snacking while isolating. Judy, I only have one more question for you, and then maybe we have some viewer questions we'll move on to, but is there anything else you want to share about snacking or nutrition services available at the Dempsey Center that you think might be important?
Yeah, sure. A couple of other things. I think that people are much more, this goes back to that being intentional part. I think people are much more likely to eat healthy foods if when they have the energy level, or maybe they've got support people that are helping them out, if you've got healthy foods that are prepped and ready to eat and in your refrigerator or in your pantry, you are much more likely to eat them. So I tell this story fairly frequently. I am the kind of person that can bring an orange to work on a Monday, well, when we're going to work, right? I can bring an orange to work on a Monday, and my clients come in and meet with me and they see that orange sitting on my desk and they think, oh, how healthy, she's eating her orange every day. But then what they don't realize is that on Thursday, that same orange is still sitting there because I haven't taken the time to peel it and eat it. So what I do is, particularly with citrus, I'll peel several pieces. And here I've got a few props that I brought. This is a container that has some grapefruit that's already peeled and sectioned in big chunks, and it's ready to go. So that when I come to the kitchen again, I know that that's there. I still have to make a choice about what I'm going to eat, but I'm much more likely to go in that direction. Or here's my other prop. Here's my carrots that are all sliced up and stored in water and they're ready to snack on. I've got some hummus that I bought so I can have those together. Then there's one other thing that I wanted to add, and you're not going to be able to read this, but here's my dirty little secret from our household. We love chocolate covered almonds. We get the dark chocolate covered almonds, right? It's easy to eat a lot of those. So it's been what, 8 weeks almost now that we've been kind of doing that grocery shopping every 2 weeks instead of every week. And so we buy these packages from Hannaford of these chocolate covered almonds. And you can't see this, but there's a sticky note that's on the top. And the sticky note says, limit 3 per person per day. And really, I put it on there the first time because I thought it would be funny and I'd get a little rise out of the family members who are here. And, we all got a little chuckle, but I keep it on there. So tomorrow's our 2 weeks. We're going to the grocery store and I still have some in here. So that Post-it note, every time we go to get a couple, we see the Post-it note. It's like, oh yeah, I don't need to have more right now. I can have more, but I'm going to wait till tomorrow. They'll be good tomorrow. And, they just last a lot longer that way. So, I guess at the end of the day, focus on eating good quality foods, including your snacks. Be intentional with your grocery shopping and, you'll do fine. You'll do fine. So Other resources at the center. So I guess it's just important. We talked a little bit about what's available on the website. If you go into the virtual resources in Dempsey Connects on the Dempsey Center website, you'll see in the nutrition section, it's obvious, you'll be able to find it. You will see information, some handouts to help people managing any GI side effects to treatment that might be having a negative impact on your ability to nourish yourself. So you'll find a bunch of handouts on how to manage nausea, diarrhea. You'll see that healthy snacking sheet. There's also some other online resources that talk about symptom management, recipe resources. We've got a whole host of recipes now from the Dempsey Center kitchen, so a little sampling of some of the things that we make in classes. So I'd encourage everybody to just check that out.
Awesome. Yeah, I actually poked around on the website and took a look at some of those recipes. There are some real tasty looking things on there, so I'm definitely gonna have to try some of those out. Well, if anyone is wondering where all these amazing resources live, you can actually head right over to our website, dempseycenter.org, to our virtual resources page. We have a whole bunch of different things ranging from yoga, like we talked about last week, to now Judy's recipes, some worksheets, some handouts, just to try to really stay healthy during this time. And while we're all isolating and separate, just keep in mind that taking care of yourself is really important. So Judy, I want to thank you so much for meeting with me today. It was really great. I learned a lot, and I'm really glad you were able to make it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Sophia, and thanks to everybody out there for joining us.
Yeah, and I just want to let the audience know that if you are interested, we're going to be doing one of these live interviews once a week. So you can join us next week, turn on your notifications, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much, everybody, and stay well.